We're gonna react to ShoeOnHead's video by Asmongold, him reacting to her. We're gonna see what this is about. I haven't watched any of his videos recently because, you know, like I said, the election. So let's get into this one. I've been really excited to watch this one because, you know, why are men going to the right? It's a lot of men are going to the right. A lot of youth are going to the right. A lot of people are going to the right. If you've looked at the current demographic of the Republicans and the Democrats on the election map, there's not many blue counties left, guys. It's pretty much the coast on the west, New York, and those little blue states, you know, those little ones that, you know, are states, you know. All right, guys, let's check it out.
So this has been a video. A lot of people have wanted me to watch this ever since it came out. I obviously there's been a lot of election stuff, and the big question, why are men moving right? Now, in my opinion, I think the answer to this is fucking obvious.
Hello, everyone, and happy one-year anniversary to my male loneliness epidemic video. I'm happy to announce that since that video uploaded, the discourse has greatly improved. People all around the world are taking men's issues more seriously.
Well, that stopped after Kamala lost. Yeah, that's over. This was like a video from before the election. Yeah, that's done.
Men are coming
back,
back,
the gender war
baby.
has finally come to an end. Just kidding, everything has gotten worse and nobody has learned anything. From the witches on The View cackling about how men are useless.
Do we need men?
God, I hate that girl.
This is the same woman, by the way, that was upset the other day that men didn't vote for Kamala Harris. It turns out, in fact, you did need men. Kind of interesting, huh?
Yeah, you guys,
Men are useless.
No.
I mean, to women online saying
It's
they'd
just
rather be
crazy to
stranded
say
in
that
the...
about men.
It is.
Men
Hate
are
seeing
useless.
ads? Here's how to get rid of them, or get paid to see them. Do you know how much of the content you see on a daily basis?
There it is, man. Well, that's what you get.
Just crazy to
woods
say
with
that
a
stuff
bear
out
than a
loud.
man.
Would you rather be stuck in a forest with a man or a bear?
The bear.
Bear.
It seems that things have gotten more toxic than ever, and the gender divide couldn't...
I feel like that's one of those questions that's like a retard indicator. Like, if you think that, I automatically think that you're stupid. Like, it's not even that...
Spikes, dude.
Like, it makes me mad. I just like, oh, okay, so you're just, yeah, you don't think about things the right way.
be any wider, especially politically.
In 2008, 58% of young people leaned Democratic. 2012, 53%. And in the last two major election years, that percentage held steady at 55%. But in 2023, that number dipped below 50% for the first time since 2005.
Yep.
And you'll notice right here, they've started to lean more Republican. And that's partly because of one specific group.
They can't buy a house.
guys.
Young men.
That's right.
Nobody can buy a house anymore.
The man problem.
Okay, I know I said I was going to focus on the gender war and not talk about politics for a while. However, I found a loophole. Politics is talking about gender war. With this election being hailed by the media as the man versus woman election, according to any and all data coming out recently, men all around the world have shifted more right, and women have shifted more left. But women going more left was not the focus of this month's outrage. The outrage, of course, was about men. That's right, we got our yearly,
Men
oh no,
suck,
what is
guys.
happening to men? Why are they moving to the right freak out? But unlike last year, this freak out isn't solely happening on the internet, no. It's also
also another big difference about last year's freak out is that this year's freak out was codified by an election. That's the big difference,
sure.
I would say. That's a real big fucking difference.
Everything, man.
happening in Washington, D.C.
There are only 46 days until Election Day, and the Harris-Walz campaign is struggling to appeal to a group of voters
Nobody believes these guys
could
anymore.
determine the outcome of the election, and that is men.
The Harris campaign is making an aggressive last-minute effort to win over younger male
You guys remember
voters.
when
Am
Tim
I
Walz was
really
playing
going to make a
Madden
video
with
criticizing the
AOC?
Democrat Party days before the election?
Couldn't shoot a gun?
Of course I am. Now, before you celebrate or
Got 'em.
grab your pitchforks, this is not a pro-Trump video. This is a
Okay, so it's a pro-Trump. See, the thing is that it's really funny how everybody who makes videos on the internet now has to preface this stuff, and you literally can't. Again, you can't reason a person out of a position they didn't reason themselves into. The people that believe this shit, they believe it. They're not believing it based off of like, oh, I evaluated the facts and this is my conclusion. No, they believe this because they're mad. They're upset. That's the reason why.
better video. This is a mommy's not mad, she's disappointed video.
Disappointed. Mommy's not.
Actually, I lied. Mommy's pretty mad. In this video, I am going to be addressing the Democrats' so-called man problem, the recent discourse about men moving right, the last-minute pandering the Democratic Party is doing to get them back, what they could be doing instead, and of course, going over some terrible opinions. Not my opinions. I have never had a bad opinion in my life.
Yes,
I love ShoeOnHead, dude. She's so funny.
We don't talk about that.
What I got banned for.
In a world where it seems like everything men do and like is toxic, from eating meat to working out to
how gym bro culture is harming young men, the pressure to get jacked is sparking a male mental health crisis and driving men into the arms of the far right.
Remember when they're trying to say if you work out,
it's just like this kind of thinking is just, it's so stupid.
Yeah,
having a beard.
Asmon. It's just so stupid.
Why men's with beards are sexist. And you don't want to know what's really funny about
I need
this?
to grow a beard.
Is I bet the reason why this got written is just because of J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance has a beard, so beards are sexist.
100.
It's just so, like, it's so fucking stupid. I can't even believe it.
True, yes. Oh wait, that reminds me. Before we get into this video, let's quickly give a shout out to today's video sponsor, Henson Shaving. If you've used a multi-blade razor, you're probably familiar with this story. Irritation, razor burns, and maybe even ingrown hair. Studies show 2/3 of men...
I used to try to shave within 1 minute. I would like speed run it. And I would take photos. Like if you search Asmongold shave, I would take photos to see how much that I would bleed.
Experience some form of irritation after shaving. It's something they just expect at this point. They deal with overpriced blades, irritated...
I was actually going to show like how I shave and get ready, but then I did it, and then I realized I would, if I uploaded it, I would get banned to on YouTube because of gore.
And think that's just the way it has to be. Until now,
nice with your face.
Henson Shaving is on a mission to improve shaving with real innovation and a focus on your skin's health. Their razors are made with solid aluminum, making them not only durable, but environmentally...
This does look like if Trump made razors, I think that they would look like that.
Friendly too. There's no plastic involved at all, even in the packaging. And the blades are fully recyclable. What really sets Henson apart is their engineering, with their Henson AL13 safety razor being manufactured in an aerospace machine shop that built parts for the International Space Station. This precision allows the blade to extend just 1/1000th of an inch beyond the shave plane, less than the thickness of a human hair. The razor prevents any bouncing or skipping, resulting in an irritation-free shave every time. Henson even partnered with a medical imaging startup, and results indicated that the Henson AL13 razor significantly reduces razor burn in comparison to conventional multi-blade razors.
See, I always thought that like if I shaved long enough,
you know what's funny? He
the razor burn and the bleeding would stop. I invented this myself. And do you want to know what's really funny?
Oh!
It worked. I never bleed now.
I just shave in the shower, dog.
We fine.
Switched to using Henson as my go-to razor brand. My shaves have been more silky and smoother than ever. No more burns or cuts, just a close shave that feels amazing. In other words, no more leg beard. The best part is, once you invest in a Henson razor, it's a lifetime purchase. The only thing you need to repurchase are the blades, which only cost 10 cents each.
half Hispanic,
10
half
cents.
white.
So once you own a Henson razor, you'll only be spending $3 to $5 a year on blades, compared to the ongoing cost of buying those expensive plastic cartridges. Henson store offers a variety of colors, so you can pick the razor that best fits your style. So head over to hensonshaving.com/shoe and use my special discount SHOE at checkout to get 100 blades for free with your purchase of a Henson razor. Your skin and your environment will thank you. Big thank you to Henson.
I'm not gonna lie. What a freaking plug, dude.
No, I'm not gonna make the joke. Let me just move on.
For sponsoring this video, and thank you for not skipping the ad. You didn't skip the ad, right?
No, we're not.
Now,
we didn't skip it.
We don't need to do that.
If you are a regular viewer to the ShoeOnHead channel, first of all, I'm sorry. But also, you know by now, I have been documenting the internet and society in general's growing and widely accepted hatred of men. This has been happening for a very long time. And if you dare spoke up about it, you were called an incel or a pick-me, depending on your gender. But seemingly, almost out of nowhere, there has been a change of heart.
Well, the reason why there's been a change of heart is because there's enough of them now. It's not like people became more understanding. It's just that people realized that they couldn't just hand wave it away. A very important component.
So, I think men are in crisis, actually, in this country.
Okay.
I think that plays out different ways.
Me too. I
but
agree.
I think we need to have a real conversation about that.
I'm in a crisis
Wow,
right
that's
now.
interesting. Mainstream media talking about this. I wonder why they care so much now. Democrats fear Harris losing too many male voters to Trump.
And she did. She lost like all the black vote. All the black
Well,
men
how
voted
about
for
that?
Trump.
Oh.
A bunch of
Signs
black,
have been mounting that for the
Hispanic
first
men
time in
voted
recent
for Trump.
decades, Democrats may lose majority support from young
Crazy,
men in
guys.
2024. The risk
crazy.
to
You shit on
Democrats
men
is that
and
this
then
is
they
not
turn
just a
on you.
one-time fluke, but an indication of growing trouble with men in coming elections. Democrats
Yeah,
can celebrate
obviously.
the support they are getting from young women, but they also need to take
It's actually crazy if you can't see why Democrats don't get support from young guys.
You have
just
you might be stupid.
hang it up. Get another
He's right.
job.
He's
Get
right.
another one.
You're dumb.
Go to motionarray.com and enter a world with over 2 million creative assets to bring your vision to life.
disaffection of young men seriously,
It's so
engage
obvious.
them
Yeah.
directly, and respond to the visions of manhood and masculinity that Donald Trump and JD Vance are offering.
Yep.
All
He
right,
has a
Kamala, you
beard,
got 2
dude.
weeks to reverse anti-male propaganda and resentment fueled by our government, media, and institutions. How you gonna do it? Harris campaign creating space
I
for
didn't see him.
white dudes. Oh,
Look at this guy, AFK.
I just like it's just so it's like even whenever this is like their version of like reverse racism where they're like we actually want to bring in white guys and it's like it just it's like is this what it feels like to be patronized for being a minority? Like is this what it's like? Like cuz I read that title and I'm like, what are you fucking loser? Like what do you mean?
Dude.
that's a great idea. I mean, a little too late, but I'm
Yeah.
glad you're finally doing to be honest about role in history. Oh. It's always a
what?
space doing to be
To be
honest.
honest about rolling history.
Roman?
Okay.
roll.
So yeah, space for them to take accountability for things
That's
that
a
they
Roman.
didn't do. Right. Okay. Sure. True.
About role in history. Oh. It's always a
Yeah.
space for white men to talk about how much they suck.
What made
Yeah. And so
How much they suck.
the idea
Men
that you're gonna
suck.
tell a 21-year-old guy that he isn't going to have opportunities and
For a future?
advantages and privileges because of something his grandfather did,
That's stupid.
this really isn't a very
Not
good
gonna
sell. And putting any sort of original sin on people are
something
going to
that they
lose
had
their
nothing
minds on
involved with.
this. They're going to hate it. Yeah, their great grandfather. Yeah, exactly. Well, men used to have this advantage. Yeah, but I don't have it. So why am I getting punished? Okay, well, that's just the way it is. It's systematic. Well, where's the system? The only system I see is privileges and scholarships for women. Like
A lot
any
of
young
women are winning
guy,
right now. That's for sure.
like college and getting a job, and especially an entry-level job, are the two main experiences that every young man under 30 has probably gone through, one or the other, if not both. And in both of those circumstances, there are privileges and opportunities that are created for women that are not available for men. You can't tell somebody that they can't see what's directly in front of them. When you see these opportunities put out for getting women into STEM, and there's women that are
there's
getting
a lot of
invited
STEM
in
programs for women right
over
now.
somebody
A
else
lot.
who's a guy, or getting an extra privilege, or getting an internship at a company. Internships absolutely are meaningful. That's why people have them. Any guy that sees that is going to think that they're being discriminated against.
It's crazy that they.
And do you
they
want to know why?
scat on men so much.
It's because they are. When you categorize people by a group
get out.
and you provide privileges to a certain part of that group and not the other part, you've just done a discrimination. Imagine that.
Did you start
No, you can't
this
discriminate
group, white
against
dudes
men.
for Harris? And I suspect some of it has to do with the polling.
Yeah, for far too long, the left
You guys remember
has
White Men for Harris?
essentially ceded white
Good times.
men to the MAGA right. There's large parts of the left who have gone out of their way to alienate white men over the last couple of years.
He's right.
And that's understandable in many ways. We decided that we wanted to create space for white men to be a part of electing Vice President Harris.
That stigma
at the top of the
problem is that space is that the space is patronizing, and it feels like it's like tokenization. I wouldn't say it's like a minstrel or something like that, because I feel like that's so like it's so charged as a term. But it's almost like bringing out white people as like, see, look, they support us too. It's weird. Yeah, I think it's just like it's unironically just weird. Everything about it is weird.
White Dudes for Harris organizer Ross Morales Roquito said he wanted to address what he called the elephant in the room.
To be their little whipping boy? Yeah, exactly, right? Yeah, and big surprise, men don't want to be talked down to.
Ross Morales Roquito said he wanted to address what he called the elephant in the room, criticism surrounding an event organized for white men given the country's history of racism.
Nobody cares about the history of racism. If you talk to any young guy, any young white guy, they don't give a fuck about slavery. They don't care about any of this stuff. They weren't alive then. They don't know anybody who was alive then.
They just say stuff to be funny.
It's completely irrelevant to their lived experience. So if you're going to tell somebody, yes, we're going to categorically discriminate against you and oppress you based off of something that you weren't a part of and nobody who is even alive was a part of, and probably you don't even know anyone who knew anyone that was a part of, guess what? You're going to get resentment. It's
plantations
so
in my family, dog.
fucking obvious. Why would somebody care about something that happened 150 years ago when it's not happening now and it's affecting them in a negative way? It's not even close. Like, I don't even know what to say. How can you possibly think this is an effective strategy?
It wasn't. It wasn't.
It was beaten to death in school over and over. Yeah, so was you typing that. You're banned. Stop it. Stop spamming.
Damn,
I typed it 5 times.
But people felt uncomfortable about the call, he said.
Quit it.
Throughout American history, when white men organized, it was often with pointy hats on. They can't even have their gay little...
Wait, what? A lot of times, a lot of people felt uncomfortable about the call, he said. Throughout American history, when white men organized, it was often with pointy hats on.
So they're saying,
did you know that when white men organized, it was also to get rid of slavery and to stop the Nazis in World War II? Like, this is just like, it's so... It's such a disgusting, ridiculous thing to say. And as a white guy, I find this to be incredibly offensive.
Yeah, half of me is really offended right now.
I would never vote for a person that would talk about me like this. Absolutely. Why would I support somebody who demonizes me and talks down to me? I would never do this, not in a million years.
Pointy hats on. They can't even have their gay little Zoom call where they circle jerk about hating themselves without their own movement going, yikes! A bunch of white males in one space? Seems kind of like the...
I've seen this. Seems like the KKK. Have you guys seen, like, I remember there was a recent article that was written, or like a statement made by like some games journalist. I think it was Jason Schreier, who he saw like a photo of a game studio and it was a bunch of white guys and he was complaining about it. I'm sorry, but like, if you do that, you're just you're making everything worse.
You know what's weird? It's when the white guys are saying this too,
black people can have their little groups and that's fine, but if a bunch of white people get together, well, that's just called bread tube.
Bread tube.
Never mind. White dudes for Harris. I mean, she's doing pretty bad with Latinos too. What's next?
And black
Hombres con Harris.
Wait,
so basically, men are leaving the Democratic Party
she said
in
she was
droves.
trying to make weed legal for black guys? Only black guys? It's like, that's not racist, don't you think?
You believe you were sent?
The Democratic campaign initiatives to mobilize the Hispanic male vote.
That didn't work out for them. That didn't work out for them.
I don't know what to say about this kind of stuff. Like, this is so... It's just so patronizing and insulting. It's unbelievable.
And they just don't see it. That's what is unbelievable to me.
It's
is
so
that
racist.
Guys
Yes,
don't
it's
even
actually
see
just racist.
how patronizing this is.
Hombres? They're not hombres. They're Americans.
Hombres, dude. Hombres. Come on, don't be so white, Asman. You're gonna get hate. Hombres.
It's unreal.
That is crazy.
I don't know what to say.
So basically, men are leaving the Democratic Party in droves, and it's not looking too good for the Democrats. So it wasn't long until everyone's favorite discourse hit Twitter again. If Kamala loses, which is very possible, there needs to be a real discussion about how Democrats speak to and reach young men. If Kamala loses.
When?
If she wins, there doesn't have to be discussion.
That's right.
We shouldn't change anything. Clearly, we're doing everything right.
Yes.
To be clear, I'm not saying we need to worry about women less or change any positions. I'm saying the polling around young men is concerning, and if it turns out to be true, we need to have a discussion about how condescending we are coming off to a huge part of the electorate.
They know it, they just don't care.
You want to know what's really funny is I bet this guy probably got a huge amount of hate for that comment, because he's completely right. If you condescend to people and you talk down to them and you just act like they're bad, they're going to act like they don't like you. It's a big surprise, right? I mean, what are we even talking about? Obviously, that's what happened.
They don't like you.
Be clear, I'm not saying we have to change anything. I'm just wondering why men aren't voting for us. What? I am going to regret posting this so hard. And oh boy, did he.
See,
the replies were insane.
Asman was right. They roasted him.
What a surprise.
He just said that, dude.
What a surprise. Wow. Ooh. Who could have guessed?
So funny.
I must admit, I cringed reading most of this. I feel that one thing you didn't address is the systemic entitlement bestowed upon white men in the US. That sense of entitlement, that privilege they felt for eternity, is eroding.
What privilege is that?
I don't know.
Like, if you go and you talk to a 21-year-old white guy now,
he's gonna say nothing. I get nothing.
What privilege are they actively enjoying?
Nothing.
Where is it?
Maybe they got blue eyes.
I don't know. Where is? Yeah, I'm not sure.
Systemic entitlement they have felt for eternity. They're like 22 years old. The f do you mean eternity? Who is this like?
Yeah, exactly. And again, if you look at the comment
That's the
here,
best thing about this Harris loss. I hope this all stops.
This is an older woman.
This crazy world.
Yeah. I'm sure that when you were growing up, things were worse. And that's bad. But if you take that and you fucking displace that trauma onto some new person, you can guarantee that they're going to be bad again.
Like 200-year-old man. So young men are snowflakes with hurt fifis because they're not the center of attention anymore. Got it.
That's the main comment. That's like the main response there.
Yeah, pretty much.
You can't complain, or you a little bee.
Exactly.
Chew. A chew.
Yep.
A bitch.
And Trump and Vance and Joe Rogan make them the center of attention, and then they win the elections.
Yeah, that Rogan thing was bad for Kamala not to go on that Rogan thing.
What a fucking surprise.
She should have went on Rogan. But supposedly she shouldn't go because they don't edit.
It's a shock.
He doesn't edit, so she
So are they poor little snowflakes, boo-hoo, or are they scary fascists that are going to turn America into the Handmaid's Tale? Because they can't be both. You either care about the future or you don't. You cannot simultaneously hand-wave away men moving to fascism, but also fearmonger about it. Hi, man here. Maybe men just need to stop being absolute pieces of dog shit. It seems like the easiest thing to do.
This is just...
That's like the common response, man. I'm telling you, just shit on men.
Do you know what's the most sad about this? It's like these self-hating men that do this, and I personally think that the only reason guys make posts like this is to virtue signal to have girls think that they're good people.
Yeah, they're just trying to get chicks, dude.
Like, they're basically trying to sell themselves out in order to, like, have girls like them. Beta cucks? Yeah, that's basically it. Yeah, sure. They do it to attract with girls.
So exactly. Try to, like, do this. Oh, why isn't I just missed twice that close?
Dude,
how's it possible?
Right? I don't feel alienated or uncomfortable with Democratic messaging because I'm not a complete wannabe fascist cheese dick incel loser who thinks he's the good guy.
To be fair, okay, just oh shit, my dad's calling me. Hello? Hey, what's up?
Papa Asman called.
Well, all right, I'm gonna put you on speaker.
Let's see what he has to say.
Go ahead.
Okay, I said before, what the issue is, repeat. What I said before was with this whole shit, all this shit about men, basically talking shit about guys who are more masculine, to use kind of in quotes there. Guys who go
masculine
to the gym, guys who go fishing, hunting, do things that guys do rather than playing pickleball or something.
Pickleball.
Where all that started was the girly men. Like I say, the femboys of their time back in the 60s. They couldn't get laid, and they see all their competition gets or a bunch of it gets drafted off or joins the army or whatever, Marines or whatever, and there they are. All they gotta do is look like girls. They grow their hair long, and
Dude, Asmon's dad is
and
brutal.
Gets laid.
But it's true. It's true.
There's
He's
still,
right.
I mean, you go by any biker bar, you go anywhere, you're going to see a bunch of chicks there, and they're out of them. There's going to be the porkers, and there's going to be regular ones and average ones, and there's going to be a bunch of damn good-looking ones there, too, just as many as are up at the Galleria Mall.
Oh, yeah. No, you're right.
Oh, the porkers.
Yeah, sure.
This all dates back to, I hate to admit it, my fucking boomer generation.
It's always the boomers, dude. They ruined the housing, they ruined this. It's the boomers. Blame the boomers.
Never had any respect for those fuckers. And, when I took any shit from them, they found out how much.
All right, okay.
Okay,
I'll give you a call later.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. I'll talk to you later. All right, bye.
Freaking boomers, dude.
Okay. Yep, there it is. There it fucking is. I totally agree, by the way. And guys now are doing the exact same thing. The way that they make women happy is by being subservient. They can't meet women's needs in other ways, so the only way they can is by being
like
obedient and subservient.
Yes, queen. Yes, queen,
Reddit and
go,
its consequences have been a disaster for the male race. They just need to get off their asses, stop playing video games, and get real jobs. First,
To be fair, probably true in a lot of cases.
Yeah, I need to stop playing this game. She's right.
First of all, what real jobs?
I was trying to make it a real job.
You guys are coming out of college with useless diplomas, and there are no jobs. Also, what?
I
got a useless diploma.
The real jobs that are out there have initiatives to have women get hired over them.
Like STEM.
So it's like, yeah, go get a real job, and then, by the way, it's rigged against you.
Yep.
Yeah, there's some like DEI initiative that puts you at the back of the line.
And apparently it's not working.
Touch boomer ass take. Get off your ass and stop playing those video games from the generation who watches TV 24/7. I don't want to hear it. Tell them to get therapy. Tell them whatever you told or gave to women in the 1950s. They made this.
Yeah, and there it is. Why the fuck would a guy that's born in the year 2001 give a fuck what happened in 1950?
1950, yeah. 1950, 1940s. Does it make sense?
Why would he ever do... Like, it's just... They're looking for revenge, not equality. They are. That's exactly
Revenge
right.
of the nerds,
Why would
dude.
anybody give a fuck?
Bed. Let them sleep alone in it. Or be f***ing better men. Any other group of people, and it's, oh, boo-hoo, poor baby.
Well, this is the problem, is that, like, any time that there's a male issue, it's about how males should fix the issue.
they always shit on the
Every
men, it's like
time
their
that
fault.
there's any issue about any other
Anything
group,
else?
it's about how... Well, it's also about how males should fix the issue, too.
So it's
That's what
males,
happens. I see it all the time.
We rewire all of society so your feelings aren't hurt.
yeah,
And then
exactly.
with men, it's get therapy. Be better. While there is truth and messaging needs to be better from
Democrats. It's like, and this is also coming from the women that are like turning on their cell phone and recording a video for TikTok while they're screaming because Kamala Harris lost. And this is like after they've pulled their hair out and they've been bed rotting for 4 hours.
Dude,
it's like, this is the person that's telling you be better. Some like psycho with 3 different colors of blue in their hair with a septum ring that lives at her mom's house at, you know, I was gonna say level 34, age 34. Like, level what are 34? We talking about? That's on like 3 different antidepressants, you know, screaming at you for you to be better.
Have you seen those
I reject that telling young men they need to be better is the problem. They are trash in their nature, and if they can't do the work to not be toxic waste of seed, that's on them.
Waste of seed, wow.
Well, you can keep telling people that, but it doesn't make them want to vote. Yeah, big surprise. Telling people that they're trash in their nature is a very bad thing to get them to agree with you. Yeah, it really just doesn't work. And it's really funny for me to see this because it seems like they still haven't learned.
No, they will.
Isn't it basically misogynistic, but against men? It's misandrous, that's the term. And it is. It literally is. It's actually just that simple.
That's what it is.
Vote for my team, by the way. We may not want to hear it, but this is what the data reflects. There is a massive loneliness epidemic in this country, which is disproportionately affecting men. Instead of calling them incels or mocking them, we should be willing to hear out their concerns. Wow.
True. Very true.
Got ratioed, probably.
And by the way, if you don't hear out their concerns, that's totally fine. They'll find somebody else that does. And then once there's enough of them, they control all the branches of government, and then they take away abortion. Surprise!
That's what's happening.
Gotcha, bitch!
Gotcha, bitch.
Oh, a surprisingly good
That's
tweet
what
in
happens.
a sea of bullshit.
What do you expect?
That's nice to see. I could be wrong, but I'm assuming you're a straight white man. So yeah, go do something about it. Why are you guys bothering the rest of us with this? I can't figure it out.
The rest of us? Isn't it a white guy? I mean, I feel like it's a white guy.
I would like for Democrats to win the election. Why do you care about men suffering? Because I want...
Yeah, you want to win, obviously.
It's just crazy, dude, that the response is like...
Amazing. This is the issue right here. Start seeing men as people and not numbers in polls. That is step 1. You can't even do step 1. Anyway, there were thousands of these kind of tweets in response to this guy.
Oh, now after the election has been over, every single time that I look at Twitter, it's like some person who's mad about the election talking about how they're going to do something bad to a person who has a different political opinion than them.
Yeah, they get really violent,
I want to say, like, if you want to do that,
it's like really
go
crazy.
ahead and do it. But don't be surprised when it happens back to you. And it will.
Yeah, what comes around goes around.
Get it? We've seen it all before. If I went through all of them, this video would be 3 hours long. White dudes for Harris wasn't the only strange attempt the Democrats threw out at the last second to get the male vote.
Hey, white dudes. So I think we're all pretty sick of hearing how much we suck. Every time you go online, it's the same story. We're the problem. And yeah, some white dudes are. Trump and all his MAGA buddies are out there making it worse.
All right. I think that worked, guys.
They thought this was going to work.
That worked, I think.
Be one of the good ones.
Almost swayed me.
Man, I remember when Republicans tried to do that for black people for a long time. That worked really well, didn't it? Didn't that work really well?
Crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Are you kidding me? Years of these people saying men suck and are the problem, and now they're like, hey, fellow men, are you sick of being told you suck and are the problem? The audacity. Apparently, Kamala Harris has a secret weapon to win over male voters.
Kamala Harris is turning to her running mate, Tim Walz, hoping he is the secret weapon who can chip away at Donald Trump's support from men.
Much like how Trump chose Pence to win over the more establishment Republican voters, Kamala seems to have chosen Tim Walz to try and win over the white male vote.
Walz would get men.
And boy, are they trying. Now, I don't hate Tim.
I think Tim Walz is definitely more likable than Kamala Harris, but that bar is on the floor and you need the shovel to go under it. I think that he's definitely more likable for sure, But
I don't think so. I think it's bad
it's
take.
just
I think
yeah,
Tim
he's
Walz
their
is kinda
token
creepy.
white guy.
I would
Yeah,
leave
exactly.
my kids with him to be babysat.
Walz.
Like, if
In
I
fact,
had
I
kids,
was
I don't have any
pleasantly
kids. But
surprised
if I
when
did
they
have
chose
kids, I
him
would
over
not
Josh
leave him with Tim
Shapiro. I
Walz.
like a lot of his policies, like his universal school lunch policy. That's an
Yep.
amazing policy. You'd have to be an insane freak to
It was
disagree
very
with that.
well received.
Or a libertarian. But I repeat myself. And there were a few times where he was speaking where I completely forgot he was running to be Kamala's VP and not president himself. And he actually brought a lot of energy to the Democratic stage for once.
Remember those debates with his eyes?
So what the f was this? Putting out a bunch of ads of Tim Walz changing the air filter in a car, clumsily
stuff,
shooting a gun,
playing
and drawing a
video
political
games,
football
guns.
play-by-play. Trotting out Walz like some kind of minstrel show of a white man.
I didn't say it, she said it. Okay? Yep, I did. Hey. Yep. But
Cancel coming.
everybody was thinking that.
Oh my gosh.
Like a man dressing up like a man for Halloween. You don't gotta do all this, bro, I promise you. And they don't shy away about how that's exactly what they are trying to do. Tim Walz is clearly a Midwest man's man, but he's the antidote to toxic MAGA masculinity.
Midwest man's man.
Oh god.
Despite his typically masculine resume as a Midwestern football coach and veteran, Walz is utilizing those qualities to push forward a more progressive, compassion-based form of masculinity.
I feel like in a lot of cases, like this is like kind of true, but it just comes off as so performative and fake that I don't think that people buy into it.
His name was Tampon.
Like, for
Tim.
example, I think if Tim Walz was running by himself, like, there's a reason, like, he's the governor, right? Like, so he's won an election before. So it's not like this guy isn't popular, but if you contextualize it around, like, like, National Democratic Party, then you have a totally different situation.
Being a vice president is understanding that you are just that. Someone who is there to aid and support the president. Walz simply being there on the ticket with a woman and taking a back seat to his running mate, Vice President Kamala Harris, is him embracing his leadership role in a positive, masculine way. Football coach and cheer.
It's positively masculine whenever you take a back seat to a woman. Like, I don't really understand, like, how... Like, I mean, how do you expect to, like, tell that to somebody and then have them be like, yeah, this sounds great, you know, like, come sign me up. It's so condescending. It is. It's crazy.
Cheerleader. How Tim Walz is defining masculinity.
Oh, he's up there.
Amy Deal, a sexism researcher and author of the 2023 book Glass Walls,
called a bullshit
told
job.
USA Today that men like Walz who are intentional about rejecting traits and beliefs commonly dubbed as toxic masculinity are the tonic to harmful stigma associated with expectations of men and boys.
They don't even know what a man
The
is.
thing is that a lot of this is actually true, which is kind of funny. Like, for example, like, what is my best example of masculinity? Well, it would be Aragorn in Lord of the Rings.
Oh, that's a manly man for sure.
Yeah, so it's like, it's definitely not Andrew Tate or one of these other, like, alpha males, right? Absolutely not. So, like, a lot of this is true. It just comes off as performative and fake.
Aragorn was like our generation's,
he shows you can be
inspiration,
masculine,
you know,
but
try to
also
be
not
like him.
threatened by women as equals or women who are in positions of power. In fact, you can be cheerleaders for them. Notice the common theme here. Taking a back seat. Cheerleading. Like 5 different articles I read specifically use this word cheerleading. Even a few about
it's taking a back seat, doing what you're told. Give me a second. Hello? My dad, guys. It's also my dad.
It must be a good
I was talking
video
about
if the dad's
movies,
calling
but
twice.
yeah, I'm also referring to my dad as well. Was that good?
Typical dad call, huh?
As a masculine model. Okay, good. I'll talk to you later. Okay, thanks. All right.
I think Aragorn might be better than his dad.
Right.
Kamala Harris's husband, Doug. God knows we need an antidote for all the lousy men in the news, and I think I found one. A lovable goofball who is happy to...
You guys hear
Can
about
you think
her
about
husband?
how
He
bad
used
it
to,
would
like, beat
sound
other women or something? There's like a story about
if,
that?
like, God knows we need an antidote
And
for
then
all
they
the
said he's,
lousy
like, the
women in the
best kind of
news or all the
husband.
lousy black people in the news, and I think I found one. Like,
he, like,
or
cheated
all
and, like,
the all the
assaulted a woman, I
lousy
think, something like that. Don't
Latinos
fact
in the
check me,
news
or
or
you can, let me
Jews
know
in the
in the
news.
comments.
Like, can you think about how bad that would sound? People would be losing their fucking mind. And so, like, and this is the issue that these people have, is that what they should do is they need to, before they write an article like this, they need to replace men with women or another minority group.
And see if it's offensive.
And then think,
I agree.
Would this sentence offend me?
I agree.
And if the answer is yes,
if they did that,
then don't put men in there either.
Problem solved.
The problem, again, is that these people think that they have a moral mandate that, like, well, I should because it's true. It's true. So that's the way I see the world. That's the way it is. So if I say, like, I have, but that's true. This is
similar to the Dave Pac-Man video we did.
If you like losing elections, this is what you should do.
Subs.
A lovable goofball who is happy to cheerlead for his wife, the vice president of the U.S. Thank God for Doug Emhoff. Successful guys can support their wives and be respected. You don't have to be the quarterback to play the game at an elite level. Emhoff and his breed of dudes who are giving it their best shot
the dudes part is
may never be as come hither to lost young men as the militant Andrew Tate models of manhood, but they are out there, and, not unlike good husbands, will appear when they are needed. From the
Not unlike good I don't even understand what that means.
Outside looking in.
What?
The right promises young men a return to the good times of the glorious past.
Just
you know,
listen
when
to
your
your woman
grandfather
and do
had
as you're
the
told.
Coca-Cola ad
That's what it sounds like.
rose-tinted version of the past. Back when you can afford a house and support a family on one income. While the left, which historically, in my opinion, had the policies to make that happen, are instead trying to sell men a vision of the future.
Yeah, sure.
And well, the future is female. A future where
if you
Star
have all
Wars
the
is
shirts
female.
that say the future is female and having male representation, or like, you know, you need female, it's just like, again, it's like the emperor's new clothes. Like, everybody can see this. It's so fucking obvious to any young guy that this is happening. And they're just trying to pretend like it's not real.
Well, I guess he's right.
It's unbelievable. I don't even know what to say.
Where is everybody?
you're no longer playing the game, men. You're on the sidelines being a cheerleader. Doesn't that just sound so exciting? Like, what the hell is going on inside these DNC consultant meetings? I really gotta know.
That's a good little man right there.
Does anyone have any ideas on how to appeal to young men? And please, for the love of God, do not say we have to offer them anything or change in any way. I got it. What?
The nose ring, dude. That's what gets me, the nose ring.
Vasectomy bus. We did that. Have you perhaps tried nagging them? Yes, we've been doing that.
Yeah, that's why they're voting for Trump.
You know that whole male loneliness epidemic thing? Are you thinking what I'm thinking? Oh, yeah.
Lame.
A really nice place. Have you been here before?
Yeah, it's one of my favorite spots. I bring everybody here. I said I go on a lot of dates, but...
Getting 8 ads every 20 minutes is actually diabolical. Meet Pi, the ad blocker that actually works on Twitch.
Wow. Wow, what a great advertisement.
That was an ad?
What if you bring out, what if you accidentally are dating a emotionally unstable crazy bitch? Don't you want to keep her around? No, not really.
Crazy, dude.
Hey, men, if you don't vote for Kamala Harris, women won't fuck you. Brilliant.
Which is like, also what's really funny about this is that there's a lot of women that voted for Trump, too. It's like this whole thing where it's like, women don't. That's not. It's not even true. I predict. Yes, it's
you
just
gotta go
stupid.
for a Republican girl now.
Young men should know that if you vote for Trump, you're basically never going to get laid.
Sign me up, baby. It's already happening.
Here's the problem. A lot of them already aren't getting laid.
What I just said.
So you can't lose something you didn't have.
Joke's on you guys. Nobody's getting laid anyways.
Nothing changes.
I mean, is it incorrect?
Trump gives girls the ick. Vote Harris, get laid. I love how she blocks out the person who this is, but everybody knows who this is. Everybody knows it. I mean, is it incorrect? I didn't think so. Yeah.
Don't think so. Trump gives girls the ick. Vote Harris.
I'm gonna be honest. I think that if I was around a girl that got like what was called the ick, I would be considering myself lucky because I just avoided a ticking time bomb.
True that, dude.
It is emotionally unstable, you know, completely illogical thing that happens that shouldn't be taken seriously.
A lot of us dudes have seen that ick.
This whole idea that like women are like these emotional babies that need to be like coddled and protected, and you need to act in certain ways so they don't get upset or like get mad. Like you're basically treating them like children. And the fact is that like there are a lot of women that don't think like this. They don't act like this. You just talk to them like normal people and everything is going to be fine. Who says that? All of these commercials are all saying this.
Yeah. What do you mean who says it? He just showed you.
It's just crazy.
Laid. They are not beating the pretending to be progressive to get laid allegations with this one. Literally just
endorsed. And by the way, I do think guys do that.
A lot of guys do that.
I absolutely think that guys do that. They'll mask their political beliefs in order to get girls that are like very politically motivated or like have strong beliefs to like hook up with them. Yeah, 100% they do. Absolutely.
Woke fishing. When men pretend to be more progressive on dating apps to get laid. Do not do this, by the way. Be open and honest about your opinions.
That's what happens when you're at those UCs.
You cannot
you gotta,
fix them. Also, pretty weird and like low-key sexist to imply like women are some prize for voting the correct way.
That's what I'm saying.
Hey,
dude,
and
it's
if all else,
that's all. It's always a good thing whenever women who are against objectification commodify their bodies as a reward for doing some sort of action, like it's a payment.
Yeah, it's a payment.
But you know, hey,
payment.
Well, totally normal.
Sign me up.
Bells,
Sign me up for
go
the
after
payment
the
plan.
Gooner vote.
Oh! Sorry.
Oh,
you can't
this
do
ad.
that.
This
What
ad.
the
hell, man? How'd you get in here?
I'm your Republican congressman. Now that we're in charge, we're banning porn nationwide.
This is why they lost, dude.
It is really funny because of how stupid it is. It is. That's perfect.
I'm sorry. I love
It's crazy,
this ad.
those ads.
The one time they speak to men directly, and it's, hey men, the Republicans are going to take away one of the only vices you use to numb the pain. So
That's
vote
right.
for us.
Oh,
Bleak.
man.
Just the absolute state of the world right now. Also, was that Germa?
thank you.
Believe it or not,
Thank you,
this
it's
wasn't
over.
the worst of it.
I'm a man. I'm a man.
This was crazy. Like,
I've never seen this one.
it's actually insane
Hold
how
on, as a push- I wanna
ideologically
see it. I
captured
wanna
they
see
are
it.
by identity politics.
That's all they had is identity.
It's
abortion and
unbelievable to
identity
me
politics.
that
That's all
they just keep. It's like the stop hitting yourself thing. You just can't stop talking about this, fixating on it, thinking about it. It's unbelievable. Like, I actually, as I said, I thought that the woke mind virus was like a stupid term. But after seeing how these people literally cannot think of anything other than demographics and identity, I'm starting
real.
to take it a lot more seriously. Because it literally feels like it's some sort of like a spell or something like that. Like some sort of like collective delusion.
It is.
I'm a man, and I'm man enough.
I'm man enough to enjoy a barrel-proof bourbon.
Neat. Man enough to cook my steak rare. You think I'm afraid to rebuild?
Why would you be? Why is eating your steak
Nobody
rare
thinks that guy
being
is
a man?
a Superman.
Carburetor?
I eat carburetors for yard work.
I'll tell you another
I could believe that.
thing I sure as shit am not afraid of.
A
Want
woman.
your video to stand out? Go to motionarray.com.
Women.
When I first saw this, I thought it was a parody.
Yeah, it's just like I don't know what to say. Like, why rare? Yeah, why would a guy be afraid? It's just like, oh my god.
By Republicans to make fun of how hard the Democratic Party is trying to pander to men to get their vote. But alas.
I love women. I love women who support their families. Women who decide not to have families.
Women who take charge.
And
We
I'm
just
man
love
enough to
women.
help them win.
Women.
Everything from them direct.
Oh my god. I can't even play out what an advertisement like this would be for minorities.
Yeah.
Like, think about the parallels that you could do for a minority group.
Mexicans.
Oh my god.
I'm not scared of sombreros. What?
Oh my fuck. That would be so fucking bad.
Towards men has to have like this tone of irony or self-deprecation. They can't even do it sincerely. But apparently white men aren't the only demographic Kamala is struggling with.
This is the Democratic margin among black men under the age of 45 in presidential elections. You go back to November of 2012. What do you see? You see Obama by 81. Clinton only won him by 63. Then we're all the way down to Biden last time around by 53. A tremendous drop already.
Has it ever occurred to you that maybe the reason why more people voted for Obama is because he was a better candidate?
It's weird how not weird, but interesting.
Has it ever occurred that maybe the reason why there's a change in voting is actually because of the people that are running? Like, I don't know. I mean, no, that's not it. Right, okay. It's my identity.
And then you take a look at the average of the most recent polls, and Kamala Harris is up by only 41 points.
Democrats deployed their ultimate weapon, Barack Obama. At a campaign stump for Harris on Thursday in Pittsburgh, Obama said that despite Harris raising upward of $1 billion, we have yet to see the same kinds of energy and turnout in all quarters of our neighborhoods and communities as we saw when I was running.
That's because you were a better candidate.
Come on, boys.
Do you think Barack Obama would come up and say good morning 6 times in a row and how are we doing 4 times in a row? No. He didn't talk like a fucking idiot.
Thank you.
It's so fucking obvious.
That's fucked up.
How is anybody even thinking about this? Yeah, there's no twerking about it. Says, yeah, it's also people knew Kamala a lot less. Sure. Obama called black men misogynist. I don't know about that. I didn't watch it. I'm just saying in general, right? Like, whenever he was running for president, people liked him a lot because he represented a lot of the view. Like, he was like against the war in Iraq and like he wanted to move the troops to come back. It didn't happen, but like that's what he ran on. And so of course people were supportive of that. Absolutely they were. That's why people are blaming the fact that Kamala is a woman. Well, I mean, even if you compare like her numbers to Hillary Clinton, who also was a woman, like it's just at a certain point, maybe instead of blaming, like it's like they're basically blaming every single thing that they can't control, except for the one thing that they can, which is their message. It can't be our message. There has to be some sort of like existential reason that we can't control that we can complain about so we can displace accountability over to that.
Energy, he added, appears, quote, to be more pronounced with the brothers. You're coming up with all kinds of reasons and excuses. I've got a problem with that, he said, because part of it makes me think, and I'm speaking to men directly, part of it makes me think that, well, you just aren't feeling the idea of having a woman for president, and you're coming up with other alternatives and other reasons for that.
Well, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's probably the case. There's a lot of guys that don't want to vote for a woman for president because they're like, oh, what if she gets on her period and then she decides to nuclear bomb Canada? Absolutely. Like, I can fucking promise you that there are tons of guys out there that are like, you think I want to vote for a woman? My girlfriend is crazy. I've been married to a woman 15 years. Oh my God. Nope.
My woman's crazy.
That's crazy. No, but that's it. And like, what they don't understand is that, of course this is going to happen.
Oh, no.
Absolutely it's going to happen. It's the same as women that vote for her because she's a woman. Absolutely. Like, I can guarantee you that there were probably millions of women who, if all other variables were the same and Kamala Harris wasn't a woman, they probably wouldn't have gone out to vote.
True that.
Absolutely. Women are going to exhibit, it's called own group bias. And as far as I know, my understanding is that women have a very high ratio of doing it, much higher than men. It's like a 5-to-1 ratio.
What Once again, their only tactic seems to be getting in a man's face and going tisk tisk bad boy. Like a dog that just peed on the carpet. It's not 2014 anymore, Barack. Nobody cares about sexism, motherfucker. We can't afford groceries. What's crazy is, as far as I know, Kamala
I think it's actually nobody cares about sexism, and they are sexist and they're not sorry.
Yeah, nobody cares.
Because I think that there absolutely are a lot of people that are genuinely sexist, and you're just like, the shaming for having certain viewpoints has just been diminished and damaged because of so many times that people have cried wolf and there really wasn't a wolf. Like, for example, like Gamergate was about hating women. No, it wasn't. It was about game reviewers getting money and getting preferential treatment for giving reviews for games. And like trying to turn it into, oh, it was about hating women. No, that had nothing to do with it.
We just want good video games.
They tried to turn it into that. But at the end of the day, it just becomes less effective every single time. Overused terms use all credibility. They have. Absolutely they have.
Self has never played the woman card. She has never played the sexism card. In fact, she actively pushes against it.
You've been reluctant to lean into, to talk about the historic nature of your candidacy on the campaign trail. Why is that?
Well, I'm clearly a woman.
Clearly a woman.
Point that out to
you. I actually thought this was one of the respectable good things that Kamala Harris did, is that a lot of the messaging for her being like a woman or a minority was done by other people and not her herself.
Well,
and I think this is a point that I think that, you know, compare F. Oh, no, it's a weird Twitch thing. I think it's very respectable that she did that.
A few years ago, I started sharing my love for fashion on social media, and Willow Boutique was born. Last year,
but
if she was talking about all the time,
that most people really care about is, can you do the job, and do you have a plan to actually focus on them?
I was proud.
Yeah, she's completely right. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a good take. That's a good.
It's like they finally learned from Hillary Clinton's failure, but that didn't stop the media or Barack Obama from doing it for her. Thanks, Obama. For all the Zoomers, thanks, Obama was a meme. In like,
oh shit! Oh my god, I'm old. I have to explain that.
20 back then. That would have slapped. While I was writing this video, Kamala and Gretchen Whitmer were getting ready to film a video at a bar together when Kamala was apparently caught on hot mic saying this.
Yeah. Oh, we have microphones and I was listening to everything. Oh, I didn't realize that.
Damn, dude, I remember this.
Well, you'll bleep my F words. We just told all the family secrets. Shit.
We need to move ground with men, so what we're gonna do is pretend.
See, if she talked like that all the time, she probably would have had a much better chance of winning.
That's probably
true. You talk like a fake psychotic bitch. Nobody wants to vote for the Joker.
The cackle, dude.
To drink beer at a bar. Men like beer, right?
Cheers.
Just talk about policy. Just be yourself. Just listen to men and what they want. Kamala, all you gotta do is talk. Actually, no, now that I think about it, that might make it worse. Put Tim Walz out there, okay? Let Tim Walz do the talking. Don't dress him up as a man. You wanna know how to speak to men? Go to where they are. A good place to speak to young men is the Joe Rogan podcast.
She's scared though. If you watch Joe Rogan, he said that they wouldn't let her on.
It's so funny that it's being discussed as to whether or not Kamala Harris going on the Joe Rogan podcast was damaging for her career.
She wanted to. She asked, "Hey, do you allow edits?"
I think that's
said, no,
so fucking funny. Yep.
I hinted at going on, but then that never happened, and instead
Joe Rogan flipped the election.
The
crazy thing is that like there were people that were like interviewing guys at the at these college campuses, and they were like, "So why? Who are you gonna vote for?" "Oh, I'm gonna go. We're gonna go with Trump." "Why?" "Well, I watched Joe Rogan, and he was on there, and you know, I mean, it was pretty good."
It was a good one.
Why didn't Kamala go on there? I don't know. Probably because she lying about everything.
Lying Kamala. That's what we used to call her.
Yeah, I mean, really, it actually was a factor. Must have been a good point. She could bullshit for 45 minutes, but 2 and 3 hour shows the real you. She only wanted to do 45 minutes.
And she wanted
Elon
it
Musk
to be
impacted
edited.
it the most. Yeah, I think he probably did. That's probably true.
Trump went on, and that episode hit like 20 million views in a day. But like, can you blame her? Joe Rogan
Actually, how many views did it get?
Got a lot of views, dude.
Okay, it's all the way down here. 46 million views just on YouTube.
Yikes. It was on X and Spotify.
Man. Plus 100 million on X? Yeah. Oh my god.
It's just one of the most popular podcasts in the world with a majority young male audience.
Which, by the way, I do want to say that a impression on X is worth less than a view on YouTube. This is like a social media thing where like a view is an active engagement, whereas an impression is is like just that you have seen it.
You scrolled through it. You didn't actually
watch it.
watch
So that's why I didn't want to compare those two numbers.
But still, it's a lot of eyeballs
YouTube
on
even hit it from trending.
Yeah,
maybe,
YouTube. It's just one of the most popular podcasts in the world with a majority young male audience. I hate it here. Every time this topic comes up, so does the topic of like Andrew Tate, Jordan Peterson, internet algorithms, Gamergate, whatever.
There is a massive amount of right-wing radicalization that has been occurring, especially in younger male spaces. Any hobbies whatsoever, whether it's playing video games, whether it's working out.
By the way, Hassan is right about all of this.
Whether it's, I don't know, listening to like a history podcast or whatever, everything that they see is right-wing sentiment being expressed by individuals that they find charismatic.
But you can only blame internet.
So the reason why he's right,
well, they did do that,
might not be necessarily like what he's trying to say. I think that it's a chicken and the egg scenario, where the content that's popular is right-wing because this right-wing content more accurately reflects the way that people see the world and the way that guys feel. So it's not that there's a bunch of right-wing content that's brainwashing people to be racist or to be Nazis. It's that there's a lot of guys that feel disenfranchised, and the content that's being deemed as right-wing is content that reflects what their viewpoints are. So it's like, and this is kind of the way that like content right? No, that's really how it is. Joe Rogan isn't right-wing, it's the right one. Well, I think that it's definitely true that there are a lot of young guys that are extremely attracted by right-wing content. And I think Hassan is right by identifying that. It's very clearly a trend, and I think that the election proves that trend to be true. But why is that trend happening? I think the trend is not happening because content creators are right-wing. I think the trend is happening because people are right-wing and content creators are adapting to that, or content creators that have those same viewpoints are being elevated because those viewpoints are shared with a large audience.
I think he's right.
That's what's
viewpoint
happening.
Is the common viewpoint.
Do you see kind of what I'm saying?
Just like voter
the trend,
ID.
Men have always been more conservative than women. Yeah, but it's becoming more the case. Alex Jones accepted being press secretary.
Is that right wing?
At Harbor Freight, we do business differently from the other guys. We design and test our own tools.
Here's Alex Jones. Alex Jones, dog. This guy's wild. The Jonesinator.
Let's finish this video first.
Algorithms for much for so long. This automatic assumption that any dissent from liberal mainstream thought could only be caused by manipulation or brainwashing from podcasters is honestly
brainwashing from the Rogan.
It's a vicious cycle. And I think that the cycle begins with people that are looking for content that respects them. And when you create content that respects a person and tells them that their opinions and their beliefs that they have are not racist, evil, or bad, they're going to be like, yeah, I agree with you. And there's a lot of guys that feel disenfranchised. And I think that really, like, a lot of these like right-wing places do a much better job at appealing to them. That's really the truth.
Drawing them in. Getting them to stay.
A cope, in my opinion, and just an easy excuse for failing to reach anyone beyond your own subreddit. As if this all wasn't the result of like a stagnant neoliberal corpo.
Well, I honestly think that the reason why there's a lot of right-wing podcasts and stuff is because there's a lot of guys that are looking for it. The popularity of the podcast is precipitated by the fact that there's a lot of people that feel this way. It's not that the podcasts are making them feel this way. It's that the podcasts are elevated by a lot of people that already do feel this way.
Hell world that created a vacuum that was just waiting to be filled with some kind, any kind of populism. The crazy thing is, the Democratic Party did have a candidate who successfully spoke to the demographic that they are currently trying so hard to reach.
Bernie?
His name was Bernie Sanders. And every time he did speak to that demographic or say he was
they were referred to as the Bernie Bros, and they were demonized. Yeah.
When Bernie
learned
didn't
that the
fight
Democratic
back, I was
Party
like, I'm done
didn't
with
do
Bernie.
enough to speak to that demographic.
Yep.
He was called a sexist, a racist. He was backstabbed multiple times and cheated out of winning the Democratic primaries.
Twice.
His fans were called Bernie Bros and constantly berated as sexist.
Made me finally realize misogyny in America.
Yeah, Bernie was a big eye-opener for a lot of people.
I wonder what this girl is writing about today.
Bernie really opened the eyes for people when they saw that.
Maybe nothing. She's in therapy now.
She's in therapy now. When Bernie lost and he didn't fight,
his
I think they
campaign
made
was
a lot of
too
Trumpers.
white and too male, and this apparently was a top priority to remedy in.
Yeah, we've got to fix this. Well, here's the thing. They did. How about that?
They voted Trump in.
They fixed the glitch.
Future campaigns. We were told he was just like Trump
Problem
and,
solved.
quote, appealed to angry white men. Well, who's trying to appeal to angry white men now, bitch? It's almost like Bernie's hyper-focus on working class issues.
See, this is kind of what I was saying before. I was talking about this with like video games and like woke video games about how it doesn't matter whether you think that your message in the game should be there or not. If you put a product out to market and people don't buy the product,
you're not going to sell
then
it.
you go out of business.
It just doesn't sell.
It doesn't matter whether you were right or wrong. You're out of business. You're done. Everybody's
Very
fired.
simple.
The building's foreclosed. The studio gets sold. You're finished.
I can't crawl in there.
It doesn't matter whether you're right or wrong. It matters whether what you're doing is
people are buying
working
it.
or not working. And these people are so attached and like so captured by their ideals and their morality that, by the way, is totally distorted. But even so, they're so captured by it that they are completely unable to see anything other than the entirely very, very narrow lens of the world that they see everything through. Doesn't matter if you're right or left. Yeah, sure. Concording is such a good word. Yeah, exactly.
It's
appealing to people is what you're supposed to do.
What he's saying is true. Like it's not rocket science.
Bread and butter
you can
issues
put your
and
opinions out there. People
populism
don't
was
care, they don't
naturally
care.
attractive to men. No football or beer required.
Right.
I miss him. And you know what? Maybe this shift with young men has less to do with who's holding the football and more
Right,
of what
took a-
happens when the DNC
took a
spends
big,
all their time and energy
trap on the
trashing the
Democrat
little bit
Party,
of
too.
populism in their movement. And if you ask me, handing conservatives a monopoly on anti-establishment rhetoric on a silver platter was probably their first mistake. They kind of gave up on that bread and butter New Deal.
Well, you can't really say that you're the establishment when every single person that has a mainstream media television show has the same viewpoints that you do. Like every late night
Like
talk
that
show
guy that we just
host
did a video on.
is doing a monologue
Dave
about
Packman.
how Kamala Harris should win the presidency. You can't talk about how you're not the mainstream when you have all of these A-list celebrities getting
Backing you
together
up.
to collectively
All the
condemn
Diddy
people
list.
that vote for Donald Trump. Like it's very obvious that this is the majority opinion
The
of
Diddy
people
bros.
that are part of the establishment. And just because there's a large contingency of people on the internet who don't represent that doesn't mean that the establishment isn't working tooth and nail to try to fight that from happening. Look at how much they tried to demonize and like demonetize and kick Joe Rogan off of Spotify. Think about how much they're trying to stop free speech on Twitter or X. Think about how much before Elon Musk bought Twitter or X, how much they did stop free speech on there, how much they tried to control things with COVID, how much they tried to control things with election misinformation. It's just so obvious. And any normal person, and this is really what the problem is, it's that every reasonable, normal, average guy can see exactly what I'm talking about.
100%. That's why That's
so
why
when
Trump
you
won.
tell somebody that they can't see what's in plain sight directly in front of them, they're going to hate you for it. This is the reason why, like, theocracies usually fall with religion. It's because eventually people are tired of living a lie. They're tired of living their life according to a set of principles that they don't feel like represents them and that they have to actively forego their critical thought. It's
Or
literally
they're being
Orwell.
told all the
Yeah,
time that
it
they're the
is.
problem, you know?
Well,
nobody wants to hear that all the time. Some people voted just to get, like,
yes and no,
votes
right?
out, like,
But
for sure.
It's basically gaslighting. Yeah, I would say so. Actually, no. Yeah, no, it is Orwell. No, you're right. I don't know about that. No, remember how, like, the, like terrorism is peacekeeping and stuff like that? Like, all the different, like, phrases about how the, the main party, like, controlled all the vocabulary? I think that if you look at it through that, this is, like, with 1984. Yeah, I actually think that's a good example. Sure.
Now, what's
the
going on with
doublespeak
my team?
moments? Yeah.
Stuff for identity politics, and if you deny this, you are either lying or coping. The physical manifestation of the left has gone from the vision of the blue-collar union worker to a nagging, scolding fat woman with blue hair barging in
with a nose piercing.
Yeah, the septum piercing, you need that too.
Into everyone's spaces and culturally
coming into Warhammer and saying there's not enough women in it.
You don't have the nose septum, you're not a
change
true
this,
believer.
change that. I don't like this. I don't like that. It's just incredible for me to witness years of anti-male rhetoric finally come back to bite the left and Democrats in the ass.
And I think that also what's going to happen, like, I remember I saw this tweet from
a lot of stuff bit them in the ass.
Old Nick Fuentes, he goes, your body, my choice,
who's a
forever.
Jew, right? The Jewish guy. Because I guess with the Israel stuff, she's like, I don't want to pick what's his name? Shapiro?
Now,
because
the
he's
thing
Jewish?
is that
like,
now they
won.
won.
I'm gonna read the room.
And once somebody wins once, they're gonna be like, well, wait a minute. Maybe we could do this and the other thing too. You know what? Where is this Project 2025 shit? Let me read this again. Cause like, yeah, now that you think, I mean, like, let's actually think about this. He's not pro-Trump, Baldy. He's not pro-Trump, but as soon as Trump wins, he goes like, we did it. He spends all his time complaining about Trump, saying he's not going to vote for him.
And
finally,
then
Trump wins, and he says, we did it. Uh-huh, for sure.
Some people, man.
These chickens come home to roost has just been both incredibly depressing and deliciously vindicating to me in a sick way, and I'm not sure if I should lend out a helping hand or Mufasa them off this fucking cliff. Some Democrats are nervous the party was too late to realize the problem. These Democrats worry that the party has focused too much on courting women voters, LGBTQ voters, and culturally progressive voters, alienating too many men in the process. There's a recognition that we're losing men.
Well, here's the thing. It's that if you use drag queens to promote a political message, that political message is going to lose. Drag queens are not socially accepted by like average populations of people. Like, if you go to Walmart and you find 5 random Walmart citizens, Walmart Americans, they're probably all going to have the same reaction to a drag queen. And I think that we all know what that reaction is.
What is it? Ew?
Things we're doing around men haven't been working. I think a lot of it is a reaction to social progressivism done the wrong way, says David Hogg. Young men, he says, feel like progressives look down on them for saying the wrong thing, even when it's a mistake. That discomfort is enough to drive them away from the Democratic Party.
Yeah, exactly. Why would somebody want to, like, it's very simple. It's like, when you're dealing with somebody who, have you guys ever been around somebody, like, this is especially true with, like, toxic girlfriends? Have you ever been around, like, a girlfriend that, like, if you say something the wrong way, it, like, immediately activates her hard mode, like, fucking, like, max difficulty, attack phase? You guys ever had this happen?
Yeah,
right?
we've all been there,
and it's
guys.
like, do you understand, like, how, like, you're, like, fucking, like, tiptoeing through pins and needles, like, trying to avoid accidentally triggering her or, like, getting her mad?
I didn't mean that, honey.
That's exactly the reason why I think a lot of people push back against a lot of, like, quote, woke stuff. It's because they don't want to have to walk on eggshells around people all the time.
No, that's a good
They
point.
don't want to have to take their words and filter them through 5 or 10 different, oh my god, what if people think that I'm saying this about this racial group of people or about women? It's basically there's been a massive,
whatever you want. Yeah, sure. Yeah, whatever.
A massive push,
I'm an
and this
asshole.
happens on social media all the time.
Just shut up.
There's been a massive push of taking what a person says and then extrapolating it to like its worst possible implication, and then treating that person as if the implication was their intent. It's not about trying to understand the other person's perspective. It's about using that other person as a stepping stool so you can stand on top of them and say, look at me, I'm more virtuous than they are.
You're just trying to get like a position
and so
over them.
I think that's been a huge reason why a lot of people have pushed back against, like, you know, what you'd call like progressive, like woke, like activist stuff. It's because if somebody calls something else gay, because they used to call it that for like 30 years as like kids, especially in like the 2000s and the 90s.
Early 90s, 2000s,
that
gay,
doesn't mean that they hate gay
retarded.
people. It doesn't mean that they're like homophobic or
Those are always,
anything.
like, things
and
people
like,
used
yeah,
to
maybe
say.
it's not like a great thing to say, but when you treat a person that says that as if they're actually a homophobe or a bad person, you know what it makes them? It makes them a homophobe or a bad person.
Yeah, it has context. If you use the
And
word in that
fundamentally,
same
people just
context
don't want to be
degrade
told what to
somebody,
do. They don't want to be
then it
told
has
what to
meaning.
think. They
But
don't
if
want to
you're
have
just
to walk
saying a
on
word,
eggshells
then it has
around
no
people
meaning.
that are, in a lot of cases, I think, mentally unstable.
change the word
and
with red.
They don't want to deal with it at all.
If you don't use red in the
And
right
so
context,
it's
it's
an
not the
unfortunate
word red.
colloquialism. Well, I mean, whatever you want to call it, right? Like
blue.
whatever term that, like, there are a lot of terms like this. Like you could use, like, there's terms like, I didn't know tar baby was one that can be used as like as a derogatory term towards like black people. Like growing up, like this was like just a story, and like I learned, I used the term one time. People got really mad at me for it, and like for me, like I'm involved with controversies like this all the time. So I don't really care a lot about it.
Have you heard that
But
term?
like,
Tar
I
baby?
know
I've
that
never
there's
heard
certain streamers that don't even want to have Starbucks on their screen because they're afraid that people might get mad because Starbucks is seen as being promoting and favorable towards Israel.
The Israel thing, yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And
Well,
so
that's why
people don't want to live
such a
with
cool,
like that
person
level
to
of like
follow.
restrictive behavior.
The guy's true to
Is
what
on
he
base?
believes.
Yeah, they
seems
are,
like.
and I think retarded is another one. Like people that use the word retarded don't want to be told not to use that word. And I think that if you want to take a step back, people don't want to be told what words they can and can't use, period. And you see this on Twitter. Baby. As soon as Elon Musk took over, I bet the usage of the N-word went up by 1,000%.
What about retarded
No,
and
that's
stuff?
not true. Probably 10,000%. Yeah, because, or the F word. I see, oh my God, people are really trying to bring back the homophobic F word. They're trying to bring it back in a big way. I can't even read Twitter without seeing it all the time.
All the time now.
And do you want to know why? It's because people don't want to be told what they can and can't say. They don't want to be given a list of words by some loser and be told, no, if you say this, we're going to try to systematically destroy your life. Because you know what happens? Whenever you tell that to enough people, they decide to systematically destroy your life instead. And that's exactly what happened with the election.
Like the cancel culture, you know?
That's exactly what happened. It's because if you try to antagonize people and tell them what to do, eventually they'll turn around and they'll start telling you what to do. Basin, I'll do it again. Yeah, and it's going to keep... This is what my opinion is. I think that we are going to move towards an overcorrection. And I think that conservative viewpoints and conservative, like, and I'm talking about like extreme conservative viewpoints, will continue to get more and more traction as an overcorrection because people are tired of like being told what to do or what to think.
Trump 2024, baby, it's going to be the correction.
Yeah, pendulum swings back. Yeah, and I think that people are swinging back.
And it might be, like
the thing is, what's different about it this time, I think, is that people know it. They know it. And they're doing it because they're like, you made us live with our mind in a cage. Now it's time to put you in a cage.
Free the beast. Free the beast.
And by the way, Trump said on day one, a lot of people probably might be going in cages. The mass deportations. Done. That's it.
And I saw a funny TikTok of this guy saying,
I feel like
my mom lives at blah, blah, blah. She's illegal.
And people like to, you know, like they like to fight against this and like to say like, oh, well, this is the wrong thing to do. Well,
he's like, and he kept saying her address.
Does it really matter who's right or wrong when you're the one that's in the cage? Not anymore. That's it.
Wow, right behind me.
they don't necessarily agree with Republicans. They would rather be around someone they don't agree with who doesn't judge them than somebody they do agree with who judges them constantly.
He's totally fucking right about this, by the way. 100% right about this.
Nobody wants to be judged or told what to do.
When you're out in the neighborhood, you can capture the moment and edit your shots later with Adobe Lightroom.
Men aren't moving right because they are choosing fascism. They are moving right because the left made them the villains in their anime fan fiction. It's not that they all like Trump. It's that they all hate you. And no amount of camo hats is going to fix that. But do not get it twisted. I do not in any way, shape, or form believe the GOP is going to help men. I don't think they're going to help anyone.
Shut up,
except maybe Israel. Do I think all of the left...
I agree with that, too. Like... You know, somebody says like, oh, you can't get abortions anymore. It's like, oh, fuck, when I have to pay child support. Like, that's the first thing I think about. The fuck? What, do you got to get a coat hanger now? Jesus.
Jesus, man.
Just some hyper woke fat lady wagging her finger in men's faces like, no fun allowed. No, if I did, I wouldn't call myself left.
And this has happened a lot. Like, I've seen this happen constantly where it's like women that are, I don't even really know if it's women. I don't want to categorize this as all as women. But I think that it's like people that are like complaining. They're like, I'm really bothered by how much people are using the word retarded. Or I'm really bothered by how much people think this joke is funny. Like, people shouldn't be joking about this. This isn't funny. You shouldn't be allowed to, like,
we see that all.
Bitch,
we saw
shut
that
the fuck up. Shut up. Don't tell me what to say.
Shut your bitch ass up.
Just period. Whatever you're going to say, I don't care. It doesn't matter what it is, what your problem is. It doesn't matter.
Yes, man. Thanks so much.
I'm not a Democrat. I'm a registered independent. But the Democratic Party is historically better on policy, and despite their messaging, even when it comes to helping men. Healthcare, higher wages, paid family leave, labor protection, Social Security, things Republicans have always fought against. And I think that's why this is extra frustrating to me. I don't say this with any love for the Republican Party. In fact, if anything, I say it with love for the Democratic Party. I fucking hate them, but deep down, I wish they could be better. I'm doing this for your own good.
Yep. This hurts me more than it hurts you.
Go sleep. I love you. Go sleep. I just hope that whether Kamala wins or loses, the party can take a step back and evaluate what they're doing wrong. Because
they're taking a step back to have a support group for each other and talk about how much they want to kill Donald Trump, how much they want to kill themselves, how much they want to kill their family members, and how much they want to kill their unborn babies.
Yeah, that's crazy how much
I don't think the Democratic Party should be the party for the gays and women. I think the Democratic Party should be the party for everyone, including angry white men. So in your opinion, what could the Democratic Party do to win back young men? Can they do anything? Are they fucked? To me, it might take decades of work to fix the culture, the rot that...
I don't think that they can do it. I think that they're so captured by identity politics and like the logic and philosophy of like intersectionalism.
They got 4 years of read everything.
That they cannot undo this. Yeah, stop identity politics. Like I feel like basically the like Donald Trump brand of like Republican politics will exist for the next 20 years. Yeah, like after Trump like finishes his term. It's not like, oh, everything's going to go back to how it was with Mitt Romney. There's going to be, like, I bet that there's probably going to be somebody who is even more, like, they're probably going to say, you thought it was good now. You thought Project 2025 was bad. Wait for Project 2028.
29.
You know?
Infests the progressive ideology. It is going to take a lot of work
what's going to happen.
But I think it's worth it, not just for the Democratic Party's sake, but just for society's sake. If you like this video, please consider donating to my Patreon, link down below. It really helps the channel out, and I appreciate it so much.
Yeah.
Also, thank you for 2 million subscribers. That's insane.
That's a lot of people.
And I will see you guys with a new video soon.
ShoeOnHead.
Yep. Yeah, it's a really good video. Give it a like. This is so good.
Yeah, this was a good one, guys.
I wish there were more people that talked about this kind of stuff because I totally, I feel like there's a lot that
there's a
lot of this stuff that needs to be talked about.
I thought I had a shot.
Such a great video. Yeah, this was so good.